Alright, so I'm all about bayonets, and mostly AK bayonets, but I'm also a big fan of spikes. These things are ruthless. So let's talk about spike bayonets. There's way more than what I have on the table here, but this is my collection of them. We've got an Enfield bayonet, I'm pretty sure. So I'm sure experts out there will know what this one is, but I'm pretty sure it's an Enfield. I only have it because it cost like a couple of bucks one time, and I figured I'd throw it into my spike collection. Then the good stuff, we have Type 56 AK Spike. We have a self-contained, removable 56 style spike. We've got the clamp-on aftermarket spike. We've got the longer blade 56 spike and its cousin with the two different types of blade shape or blade cut. You can see the chisel one here on the right and the point one on the left there. Now, difference between an AK bayonet and an SKS bayonet is harder to determine unless you're looking at a blade. But the difference between an SKS bayonet and a Mosin Nagant bayonet is easy. If you think about cutting the bayonet in half, you would have, not knocking down the tripod, think about cutting it in half, you'd have 4 sides to a Nagant bayonet. But on the SKS or AK bayonets, you cut them in half this way, you're going to have just 3 sides. Now, determining the difference between an SKS bayonet and the AK bayonet is a little tougher. So let's take a look. Basically, most AK bayonets have a hook style here, where most SKS bayonets have the muzzle nut, or the muzzle ring. There's a difference. The Yugo SKS bayonet has a hook because the Yugo SKS has a grenade launcher on its muzzle, so it has a little hook to connect to. It's also a blade, that's kind of easy. And then the one aftermarket AK bayonet has a muzzle ring, but obviously it's a self-contained thing that gets clamped onto the front of a rifle like this one, and pretty easy to tell the difference between that when it's on the rifle than this one that's on an SKS. This is an Sks Paratrooper. I kind of modified this one myself. I modified both the stock and the bayonet. One of my favorite little wicked small short bayonets there. It's not very long at all, but super strong, and I gave it a kind of a unique grind there. Next up we have the blade styles. This one is the SKS Parade bayonet, and it's kind of chromed and shiny. It's an SKS. There was a Russian blade style and a Chinese blade style. Both of those are this type of like a nickel type of sandblasted finish. The Chinese one is, I think, a little duller than the Russian, or vice versa. I'm not an SKS expert. Again, this one's the Yugo Blade. You can tell some differences here because, again, it's designed to have the grenade launcher. Its blood groove, or whatever you want to call this, is a little bit different than the Chinese styles. And, well, there's more of these than I have. I have just a couple there. Next up, we have the self-contained SKS bayonet, and this is for my favorite SKS, the SKS Model D, which is the model that from the factory accepts AK magazines, and this is its removable spike bayonet. Very cool. Wish I had the rifle. And then last up, we have another SKS bayonet, and this is the actual SKS Paratrooper Bayonet. You can see that if it was actually attached here, it would be a little bit longer than my little modified one. And then finally on the table we've got a couple of different versions of the Mosin Nagant bayonet, which is again one of my favorites. This one is a Romanian, and I literally bought this rifle because I like that shiny black bayonet. Is it wrong to buy a rifle because you like the bayonet? I hope not. I've done it more than once. And this is my Chinese rifle, or my Chinese Mosin Nagant, and it's definitely different, but I love it. Look at how long that bayonet is compared to the rifle. We put it out into position there. It's nice and long. The rifle isn't that long really, because when you fold the bayonet, it almost comes back to the bolt. I love it. This is an M44. The Romanian one is an M44, which is the one that's not just cut down, but really made to be a short carbine, because it's got the bayonet on it. And its Chinese equivalent here is the T53, or the Type 53. Two of my favorites, again, the black bayonets are on the Russians and on the Romanians as far as I know. The Chinese have just kind of a simpler bayonet, still pretty wicked. And then this is another one I like having in the collection. And if I remember the story right, these were twisted somewhere in India. It's just sort of a cool thing to do. And it's a Nagant bayonet, but it's got this cool twist in it. I might put it on one of my rifles one day. Anyway, I'm no expert on spikes, but I do like them. And there was a little primer on spike bayonets. Thanks for watching.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.